because it's already late. To see the last ones that are coming, they're always in the end. So welcome for joining us, and we will start momentarily. Maybe some housekeeping. So I'm Amir Einav, I'm CEO of PointGrab. With me here on the call, this is Rory Peled, our VP Business Development. Rory will handle the Q&A section you see on the right. You will be able to ask questions during the session, and Rory will answer and make it interactive, make it interesting. Our webinar is about 25 minutes, and we'll try to cover everything in that slot. Hope you still have a nice day over there, wherever you are, morning, evening, afternoon. So what we will be talking today, if we want to start, is how to unlock the Agile Office. And we're going to be talking about the introduction of the industry-first enterprise thread occupancy sensor by PointGrab. Now, what do we mean by, sorry, wrong direction. What do we mean by the Agile Office? Well, we all know people are now going back to the office. The CBRE recent report was talking about 53% already in average of occupancy. That's less than the pre-pandemic ratio, but it's already quite high compared to 35 a year before. So it's definitely the back to office makes a difference. However, I would argue that the Agile Office is because we still have very strong powers that makes the occupancy and the usage of the office still very much unpredictable. Of course, we still have the flexible working model. A lot of companies apply that, maybe 1 or 2 days. Everybody in London will know that Monday and Friday, the traffic is great, and Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the traffic is terrible. So definitely there is a flexible work model widely adopted. And even if it's not, even if there is an official policy, reality is that there is a flexible expectations from the employees. The second element that is going to impact our desk utilization is, of course, the up-and-coming AI coworker that will have an impact over the next few years on your office usage. And the last point, talking about experience, of course, is the expectations from the digital native Gen Z that are now becoming a majority of employees in the next few years. And their expectations from the office might be different than what we had before. So we should assume an office that is changing and adapting to these new big trends. To prioritize any initiative to address this, the real estate leadership is usually looking at occupancy. The reason for that is, of course, it's the foundation. You cannot go somewhere if you don't know where you are. So you start from status, and then you keep on monitoring how this status is changing according to the dynamics of the usage of the office. However, these days, these changes typically are happening in the speed of concrete, meaning they are depending on real construction projects. And construction projects, of course, are associated with budget, but also associated usually with, let's say, a new headquarters somewhere, or some sort of a major shift. You cannot keep on evolving. And that's actually a limitation, because the Agile Office is keep on evolving. And you need to keep on top of the changes that are happening in the employment model. And so you come up with your set of technologies and solutions that you want to implement. You go through the procurement process. You're waiting for the IT approval and looking at the different solutions. If every solution will come with your own data silo, and then you start creating a variety of understandings of how the office is working. Depends on where you're coming from and what kind of data you have. And then there is a change management process. So overall, the speed of such adjustment to the Agile Office needs is relatively slow. And we know that. We at PointGrab have been doing this for over 8 years now. We provide sensors for occupancy measurement, utilization data for projects worldwide. And of course, these sensors require opening up the ceiling. It requires cabling and separate teams. And actually, this fact of separate teams, if it's IT teams, if it's construction teams, if it's the real estate team, all aligned and timing and budgets, it's, if it's a new build project, it's possible. If it's an existing office, it's a lot more complicated. And eventually, when you're coming up with initiatives to improve the utilization and the value of the office, productivity-wise or experience-wise, um, you want this to happen portfolio-wide. You don't want to happen it just on the new shiny headquarter. And of course, there is the aspect that we are facing with the current solution, which is all about the capex context, right? And it's upfront costs because the POE drop is expensive, and you need to know where you want to put them. So there is a design and planning, and then years later, the design is changing, and we see many customers of ours are engaged with change of the design that they had 3-5 years ago when they started the project with us. And so the agile office require a much faster response to the change dynamics of the demand with the right capacity and the sensors and the tools to measure occupancy to be as flex as this reality. So in this context, PointGrab is introducing today the CogniPoint 2 Flex, nicknamed the Flex. So this is the battery-powered product by PointGrab, ability to measure occupancy accurately and granularity as we had in our current product. So we have two separate products. This is thread connected, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And it's purposely built for the large-scale commercial deployments across multiple buildings. And of course, eliminates this need for cabling and construction, meaning alignment, meaning time. And therefore, it's accelerating your ability to reach data and intelligence while an existing office or while last minute of a new build, and allow you to get results fast. This is a very exciting event for PointGrab because we believe that this new sensor opens a lot of new opportunities for you to deploy the PointGrab's technology across the portfolio. So a reminder for folks that are less maybe familiar with the PointGrab technology, what we offer is data. It's a data system that is able to collect the person's locations in a space, the people count, so how many are in a space, and also their movement. So the concept of traffic line in and out from a specific space. And recently, we also introduced objects. So we are able to understand tables, chairs, elements on the desk itself, on the armchair. So this is allow us to basically understand how the office looks like even when there are no humans occupying it. And this technology, which basically grab multiple data points into one sensor, doing everything on the edge itself. So there is no data that is flowing to, there is no picture or anything like that that is being shared with the cloud. We are doing all the AI analysis on the sensor itself, edge AI, what it's called. And we pass this information to the cloud, to our cloud, and this cloud is then managing all those sensors and allow you to have the data available to any application. And this is actually one of the unique characteristics of this technology because we believe this data is available for any current and future application that you might expect. So if you're looking for a room booking solution, and you're happy to feed it with this accurate occupancy information. A year later, we decided this room booking was never picking up, and we're switching to a different technology. The API is there. It's a REST API, totally standard, very easy to integrate into, and we can switch such a booking solution as you need. Same logics happen if you're using analytics. Today's analytics, tomorrow's analytics, tomorrow's your own internal AI initiative. This is all data that is available for whatever need you have. You can integrate it into the BMS systems, like we see some customers do. You can integrate it into digital signage, which allows, again, the agile office to be very visible to the employees to see where they are and how they go about. So basically, this is a setup that allows the data to be free, shared on any application. In this world, we basically introduce the new sensor. The new sensor is acting as one more source of data and we can provide this raw data by the minute, or an aggregated version. We have a 30 minutes aggregation on our side in case you need less data on your side. And it's by floor level or 30 centimeters, coffee machine area that you want to measure. Both sensors capable of understanding the environment and the subtle data totally, and provide that data back to the applications. Actually, those two sensors can reside one next to each other. So if you have today a CogniPoint 1 installed in your office, but there are some areas or some spaces that were changed or they were added to your thinking after you already deployed the CogniPoint 1, you can now add the CogniPoint 2 Flex on top of it. And they will share the same floor plan. They will go to the same API. So from application perspective, this is just one more source of count and people locations. There's no change in the backend at all for your applications and for your experience. We're just having a flexibility of adding one more source of data across the space. Now, I mentioned this is the first enterprise thread networking. What is thread? I know many people will ask themselves, what is that technology? Thread is a radio networking that is basically developed from the smart home world. The smart home world had multiple proprietary solutions by different vendors. And then the large players, Amazon, Apple, Google, and Samsung, came together to say, okay, let's build a standard version of that. Let's build an open source version of that. And this was able, a lot of other players, and you see some icons, some logos that we collected here on the side, to join this initiative. And basically they're all now introducing thread-based products. So when IKEA is coming up with the environmental sensor for the home, actually they came up with 21 sensors this September. They're all working on thread. And they're all interoperable in that way that they can work with an Amazon Echo or with an Apple Home or with a Google Home. So this open network allows innovation. We think this is time to bring this to the office. This open technology is actually a very powerful option also for offices. What we're enjoying when we're using thread is we're using a low power networking that is in mesh architecture. So there is a very low latency, it's self-healing mesh. There's a collision avoidance built into it. So we can trust the data that the sensor will pass over to the gateway to the cloud through this architecture. Also, thread has a built-in security, and it's a low-level encryption. So this is basically a very good solution for also an architecture that has to pass through the IT rigorous tests. And PointGrab is very known for its ability to provide an end-to-end secure solution from the cloud all the way to the device. And maybe the most important part for us when choosing thread was that this allows intelligence devices like the PointGrab sensor, which basically has a chip with an AI model running on it, can be updated, can allow it to keep on evolving with the needs of the office. So it's a future ready on that perspective, but it's also future ready in the fact that it's a standard. It's an architecture that is open and standard. We're not relying on a specific networking protocol that some guys develop in a proprietary environment. This is an open architecture, open source and standard, supported by the biggest players in the IT industry. So we believe that we have a future ready standard sensing infrastructure here for anything. We're going to touch about it in a second. But these were the reasons why we thought thread is the best solution for our new occupancy sensor, battery-based. Now, when I say battery-based, it basically says it's very, very much zero cabling because it's wireless, right? So you get a very simple deployment. By the way, this is also built into thread. So you turn on the device, it looks for the thread network, and it connects to it. It's a level of simplicity that we are not familiar with from other solutions. There's no disruption to the office. You can do the whole floor in a few hours. You can do the whole building over the weekend. There is a magnetic or adhesive mounting, so easy to connect it anywhere you want, as well as you can move it. So if you put it in a certain place and you find out after 2 months this was a mistake and the design changed, you just move it to another location. We support this with a mobile installation process. So the device you see here on the picture, there is a ability to see where you are actually locating the components and where you are. You can then basically align the digital twin in the cloud to what you actually done in the installation. This will allow us also to do the verification. So we'll know the right sensor with the right serial number is in the right place. Very, very easy, very simple. And that was the key investment here in terms of trying to find a solution that is easy to install, fast to install, and allow you to move sensors easily after the installation. And as soon as you install the sensor, it immediately the data is flowing back into the cloud and into your selected application. So all of your applications today will enjoy new data stream minutes after the installation is done and verified. This is a very powerful, simple solution. One of the key elements that I mentioned earlier is that we are using a battery here. Now, battery is a cost. Battery is a nuisance. So we are coming up with a 3-year battery life guarantee, meaning we designed the product to be more than 3 years, and therefore we can guarantee to you that you're going to have at least 3 years of battery life within this device. And this allows us to basically allow you to be sure about the budget associated with deploying such a new product. So where do we stand? Right now, we are just finishing our beta validation. And this is why we're announcing it today here in the ISE Barcelona. We've been doing this beta with 9 industry players. They're all partners of ours for many years in the UK and the Benelux, basically installing in their showcase. And they have a showcase offices that were large and interesting environments. So we were able to see the speed of installation, the speed of data to be flowing into the backend. It all took hours, and immediately you have real-time data going into the cloud platform. And we also identified some code stability issues, so we're able to work on them now as we are announcing this product to be available. And we are very happy to think that this is actually ready now for orders. I want to start concluding by saying, this is changing the economics of occupancy data collection. It's a much lower total cost of ownership. Even if you consider the battery replacement every 3 years or so, or 4, you still have a very, very low cost because of you're reducing the cabling, you're reducing the project costs, and you're reducing the installation costs because the installation is much faster. You are able to get a portfolio-wide data at no time. Meaning, of course, the new HQ might be taking still wired but all of those other buildings, the existing buildings you have, they'll be able to use this technology to complement it into one portfolio, into one API to your selected applications, whatever they are. One of the things we identified when we're looking at sensors is that we say agile office, but you might need to move sensors. We allow that as really built-in part of this technology. You can move sensors around as you see at will, and you are able to therefore cover any space and any time. Let's say you acquired a new company. There is an existing office. Should you keep it or not? Put sensors. Stay there for 3-6 months. See how the office is actually behaving in terms of real estate. Then take the sensors back and move them to another location, another need. This is a sort of a flexibility, hence the name for the flex. This flexibility is really allowing commercial real estate to be much more agile to the needs of the business. And as I mentioned, it's future ready. So even if you have now a certain type of technologies installed, with the use of Thread, we are able to add more sensors in the future by PointGrab and others. This is an interoperable architecture that allows you basically to cover all of your sensing needs of the future. Of course, one thing that is important to understand, and I guess at this point it was clear, This is building on a great foundation of PointGrab current business. We are 8 years in providing reliable data from hundreds of buildings. We have a privacy by design architecture with an edge AI. There's no inference, only on all the inference is happening at the edge. Therefore, the edge is capable of understanding what is sensing and sending this information to the cloud. And this is keep on evolving, but it's always with the privacy by design architecture. Enterprise security is key for the PointGrab overall end-to-end solution. We build security on all layers, passing the annual pen testing, and of course, ISO 27001 certified. And in that context, as I mentioned before, the new sensor is basically joining the same management platform, which is top of class. We're getting that feedback from everywhere. It's the current CogniPoint and the Flex are sharing the same experience from the platform perspective. You now see on the platform ability to see where is the gateway, where are the sensors, where are the CogniPoint 1 sensors, where are the Flex sensors, and they're all the same floor plan going into the to your management capabilities. So you can manage and change any device from the cloud, regardless if it's a CogniPoint 1 or a Flex. And as mentioned, it's the same API. So it's fast time to value. We have over 35 integration partners already there. More are joining every month. And we are capable, because of the new open API, to provide you anything that is needed in today's architecture. So we have customers where they develop their own solution. And actually, just this summer, when we announced our MCP interface, the MCP is the AI native interface into the data, meaning what if you're developing or you have an AI agent or AI capabilities on your side of the application side, you can query the data directly on the MCP server that PointGrab is suggesting. And all that, again, is available for both the CogniPoint 1 and the CogniPoint 2 Flex. So two more slides, the foundation of the Agile Office, right? You already understood that, I think. This is very clear. There's no tied to a construction cycle. Decision of collecting data or understanding occupancy data can happen tomorrow. Any space, small or big, can report occupancy and comfort of the devices from the device itself. We are interoperable by definition with other sensors, other measurements like air quality. We don't have air quality today by PointGrab, but there is a very clear interoperable option using our backend, because already we have an API for air quality with our partners of air quality, and now with Thread, we are capable of adding sensors of air quality to the architecture. And in reality, this opened the foundation of an Agile Office, because any data, any application can get the data. This is data in real time, by the minute, or even by real time, and the applications that are easy to add to our platform, but by definition of a click. So what's next? We have a delivery team that is ready to design your offices and floors. Already done it multiple times in the last few months as part of the beta. You can now register with Roy to join the Innovators Club, because we have a special pricing for folks that are joining now to the Early Innovations Club. We are, of course, welcoming new channel partners all the time. We keep on growing our channel ecosystem, and we think this is a key strategic way for how PointGrab is arriving to the market. We provide a great product through distributors and channel partners that are capable of installing and capable of providing you a full solution. And looking forward to see you in ISE in Barcelona this week. We are here. We'd love to hear your thoughts about the new product. You can reach out to me directly. My phone number is here and my email. And we are summarizing this by saying, now you can. Now you can. Anything you want to do with the new occupancy data sensor. So thank you very much for joining. Looking forward to hear from you.